Okay, so this is stepping out of bounds a bit. It is super freaking rare that I ever talk about a movie I've not seen. I saw a review that had spoilers, and I warn you now, there are spoilers ahead. If you don't want spoiled, don't do it. I'm just going to explain a little bit. I am a huge Indiana Jones fan. I have been for a long time. And I remember the disappointment of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I was not as freaked out about the alien part. That didn't bother me as much as it did some people. Other aspects bothered me. That's what I'm getting at. And I won't get into those right now, but I did feel that was less than what it should have been. As such, when I heard about a new Indiana Jones movie, I had trepidation. I had huge bits of trepidation. And I was like, God, should I go see this in the theater like I've done with, I don't have the track record with Indy as I do with Star Wars. So there's pressure to go to the movie theater. But at the same time, I was wondering, well, what did they do? Is it really that bad? What can it be? So I watched a spoiler review that basically ran down most of the plot. And, here's your last warning on spoilers, okay? Last damn warning. Okay. In my opinion, they have done the dumbest thing they can do in an Indiana Jones movie. I can handle aliens, I can handle supernatural stuff, I can handle holy relics that shouldn't exist. Time travel should not be a part of Indiana Jones under any circumstances. That is a whole separate thing that does not work with Indiana Jones. And it never will, and it doesn't now. And I'm not even going to get into the parts about what specifically happens besides the fact he travels back to the time of Archimedes. And the review I saw mentioned it as being a bootstrap paradox. So, and if you need to know what that is, go Google, because I don't have time to explain it, or watch that excellent episode of Doctor Who where Peter Capaldi explains it. He explains it very well, and I I I'm floored that any point somebody thought time travel was a good idea in Indiana Jones. I can only assume they watched Avengers Endgame and went, "Oh, we can do that." Indy's never done that before, nor should Indy ever do that. That is not an Indiana Jones thing. It never should be. Lord, I would have been if you're gonna suck Indy into a into a time travel thing. At least let him find H.G. Wells or something, man. Come on. They do the time machine or something. Oh no, not that, not that. That was terrible. It's just a terrible idea. Nothing you do after that's going to make any sense. And uh, why time travel? Why of all things time travel? Time travel has its place, and you can make for good stories. I have no problem with time travel in a general story idea. With Indiana Jones, to me, it does not work. It can't. It doesn't have that sense of adventure. It doesn't have that. Oh, man. It's just, God. Why? Why do you have to keep ruining the things? Again, I am the type of person I can take these things in a separate box than the things they were. I can stick Raiders, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade. Leave them kind of over here in this box. This is the movies. that really matter. These are people trying to recapture the magic and can't do it. That might be through a lack of skill. That might be through not understanding the property to begin with. That might be through hubris. That might be through arrogance. That might be through. I'm trying to run down everything from Ryan Johnson for Ryan Johnson, okay? And I, it, I can't comprehend the idiocracy that must have been built in to say this was a good idea. How did Harrison Ford go along with this? Did he just say, screw it, I'm old anyway? I mean, even Harrison Ford had to be sitting there thinking, traveling through time is. And I had this nervous feeling when I heard the title, Dial of Destiny. I'm like, wait a minute. That sounds like time travel to me. And I went, nah, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's like some. You know what would have been even better is if the Dial of Destiny was like something Archimedes tried and didn't work, but he got really close, but he didn't master it because it's actually impossible. And then the bad guy like gets it and then fiddles with it and then he kills himself. I mean, which is essentially what happens anyway, except he just takes them back to Medes. But yeah. They say fandoms are toxic, and I'm looking at this shit going, really? And one of the best quotes I've heard from this is they seem to want to make these movies to tell people, nah, you can't love this stuff. You need to move on. And it's like, but movie studio, you're not moving on. And hopefully, you know, some of this is going to start translating into, this isn't working anymore. This the nostalgia grabs are not working, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't work. You know, they work in moderation, but they're not going to work now. It just doesn't resonate. You know, at least when they were doing it when I was a kid, for my parents, they were doing new reboots of stuff to make it more interesting for a modern contemporary audience. We're literally in the middle of them trying to redo the same shit. I mean, let's face it, the reboot of Star Trek, I mean, it's the same damn thing. Same bunch of people. Kirk, Spock, McCoy. I mean, it's the same guys. They're just played by different actors. And, people say recast Indy, and I'm like, Indy, I really think I don't want Indy to die. I want Indy to stop. And we can do a couple more stories back in, the Nazi time. Yes, and I know there's a flashback and de aging and all that stuff in the beginning. So I know that's there. And everybody says that's really great. So I am going to eventually watch the film and watch it for that. That alone. But you know, I mean, we could just write some stories in the World War II and just run with those and just enjoy them, and that'll be it. That's all you need to know. I mean, you don't need to, let's put Indy in the space age. I like the idea of, you know, Indy racing against the Nazi about something about the Apollo landing. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, one of those Nazi scientists wasn't as nice as he pretended to be, was he? Oh, really? That's a good plot. I dig it. Well, when I heard the idea, I thought it was pretty cool, and I thought it might work. I was on board. I was ready to go. And then I saw that title, Dial of Destiny. I'm like, wait a minute. And I thought maybe that's a metaphorical title. And I'm like, it's Indiana Jones. There are no metaphorical titles. So, yes, I had to rant a little bit about uh Jesus freaking Christ. Don't have don't have Indy time travel, and I'm worried they're going to do. I mean, they. I'm a little worried about Star Wars now because there's like hints that Ahsoka might be in the World Between Worlds, and that barely, just barely squeaked by in Rebels. I mean, it was iffy. It could have went the wrong way. It really just served to save Ahsoka, which I was down with. And after that, it really didn't get brought up anymore. But now Ahsoka looks like she's in the world between worlds, and what's going to happen here? And after hearing about this with Indiana Jones, I'm like, oh boy. Uh, it does not make me feel good about the idea about the ideas churning out of Lucasfilm right now. Not at all. But anyway, okay, that's my rant about Indiana Jones and time travel. So thank you for watching Infinite Realms or listening to me rant, and you have a good day, and don't forget to like and subscribe.